Lisa with Queen Bee Creations, and I'm here today to show you how to make this beautiful card. It's actually a decorative corner card. I don't know if you've seen those before, but they fold flat for mailing. They have the message on the back side, and then when you give it to the recipient, they're able to display it on their desk by standing it up. So let's go ahead and make that. What you'll need first is the card base, which again is an 8.5 by 11, cut in half, so it's 5.5 by 8.5. For the side panels, I have 3 of the crumb cake, and they're 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. And then there's also a white one for the back. And then we need one piece that's just 1 inch by 5.5. That's going to be our connector piece. And then I've run 2 of the framelits from our Lots of Labels framelits set. And what I've used is 3 and 4. When we work with the framelit sets, it's kind of been customary that people count from the inside out. So this would be 1, 2, 3. The white one is 4, and then my rose red is 5. I'm using the hardwood background stamp to accent the side panels, and I'm using our new Picture Perfect stamp set from the 2016 Occasions catalog that was just released this week. I'm going to be using the flowers up here, and this is a 3-step stamping process, and I'll show you how that works. And let's get started. To start out with, we're going to want to score our card base. I've done it on our Stampin' Trimmer, but I find it much easier to do it on our scoring board. It just seems more consistent because there's no wiggle room when you score on one of these, so when you score it, it is exact. So we're scoring at 2 1/8. 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. And it's just folded in half, and then each half again. So when we put that together, you'll notice it'll line up real nice, and then we can use our bone folder to just make sure the creases are creased well. Then we'll also need the scoreboard one more time, because I just have this 1 inch by 5.5 inch, and I'm going to just score it down the middle. So that we can fold this, and then I'm going to use our new, I guess it's kind of new, we replaced our red sticky tape with this new tear and tape adhesive, and it's really easy to work with because now you can just tear it. You don't need to get out scissors and all that, so it's a little bit faster. But I'm just going to line it up on the edge there, and again tear it off. Line it up on the other side. I'm just going on either side of the fold. Then I'm going to take this and line it up on one side. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right at the fold. And then to make sure that the other one, so when it's ready to mail, it'll fold flat, what I'm going to do is fold it flat, remove the backing from this side, which is always harder to do on camera, and then fold this one in. So you can see that now it'll fold perfectly. Like I said, for the side panels, I'm using our crumb cake cardstock, and I've decorated it with the hardwood background stamp, so I've got that mounted here. And when I work with background stamps, I tend to like to use them upside down. If I flip them over, I find sometimes I'm missing something out of the middle. So I do them this way. I open up our stamp pad. It's got the great little grips on the side that allow me to turn it over and stamp directly on here. Make sure I've got even coverage. And then I'm just going to take my pieces and line them up and set it down. Because they're small pieces, I can do 2. And then I just take a standard piece of paper, you know, any kind of scrap paper you've thrown away, and just kind of push it over. You can tell I need a manicure, I'm sorry about that. And there we have those 2. And then we're going to need one more. So there's 3 of our side pieces, and then of course the back. I just adhere those with the standard snail, just a little bit in each corner. Just line it up. And then I want to make it look consistent, so I want to make sure that I'm lining up the top and bottom, you know, so they're not jagged. Do one more. So now I have 3 sides adhered, and you'll notice I've got the fold is in the back. So when I adhere the sentiment, it's going to be at the back of the card, so when they display it, they don't see the seam. On the back, I'm going to coordinate it to match with the front. So that's what I'm bringing in my roses from the Picture Perfect set. You'll notice that they come in a set of 3, and they have little tags down at the bottom to show you that's the orientation. They're done in the photopolymer because we want them to be clear so that we can see through them and know exactly where we're stamping without having to use the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. Those of us that have been around a while are very familiar with using a Stamp-A-Ma-Jig and wood blocks and hoping it all lined up. Usually worked pretty good, but the clear is really helpful. I'm going to use rose red ink, and I'm going to start out with my base, the biggest one. That's going to be the base of the flower. You can start with either side, but I prefer that one. And I'm just, for the back, I don't really need all 3 layers. I'm just going to stamp in the corner. Set that aside. But for the middle, I want to be sure to have all 3 layers of the rose. And because I'm using just 1 ink, I mean, you could use 3 different colors of ink and have them light, you know, get slightly darker, but I'm using the 1. And so I'm going to stamp it off twice for the back one, and then stamp it onto my project. And you'll notice it's fairly light, and that's what I wanted. That was the look I was going for. Then I'm going to take the next piece, and this one I'm going to get good and inked up, and I'm only going to stamp off once because I want it a little bit darker. And then I'm going to just line it up. Oh, again, easier to do when not on camera. And then I'm going to do the third one, and I'm going to do that full strength. And there's the third part of my rose. Then I'm going to add a few leaves to it. And I'm going to do that with garden green. There, now I have 3 of those. We also have new in the Occasions catalog this brush we call the Wink of Stella. it's a great way to add glitter. I'm a big fan of glitter, and I'm usually using my two-way glue pen and the Dazzling Diamonds, which works fabulous. But if you just want something subtle and easy, we have this, which has this little brush tip at the end. Now, when you first get yours, there's going to be a black ring in here. You're going to want to unscrew the top, take the black ring off, and then put it back together. Then it will work. Don't ask me how I figured that out. But then you just kind of gently paint. And it just gives a little bit of sparkle. Like I said, it's a little bit less than the Dazzling Diamonds, but still very pretty. It's a nice accent. You just, you know, wherever you'd like it to go. This one is clear. We also have it in gold. But I don't know if you can see that, but now it's kind of got a little bit of shimmer to it. Then I'm going to adhere that to the other piece. Now, oh, and we want our sentiment on the back. So for that I have the crumb cake. Stamp says, "You are just the nicest." Meaning you could do anything. It'd be great for a Valentine's Day card, birthday card, your choice, but I just wanted something kind of generic for our demonstration. Then you want to take just a generic piece of white paper, and we're going to punch out 2 circles. And then we want to give them a crease down the middle. So we would do that. I don't know where my stylus went. Well, okay, this one's going to go on the back. And then we want our this thing on the front. Now I can't just adhere it flat the way it is, because when you go to pop it up, it won't pop because we need it to flex in the middle. And the way we're going to do that is by adding these little circles. It's just good adhesive on one. And I'm just lining it up in the center, just to the side of that little fold. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this other one. And put it on the other side of the fold. Now I can put some adhesive on this side of the circles, and then adhere my label. And I just want it to go right down the middle. And there you have it. The card's all finished and ready to go. And as you can imagine, as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I get a lot of leftover designer series paper. And so what I do is I cut it into 6x6 squares, makes it much easier to store. And then when I'm ready to do my envelopes, I just kind of flip through, find some paper that I like, and then I run it through the Big Shot using our envelope framelits. This one matches the medium envelopes, which are the A2, which will fit this card. Oh, I just would lay it on there. You know, so it's just a little bit short, but you're not going to be able to tell that once we stick it into the envelope. Run it through the Big Shot, and then you get this. And then what I do is I just slip it in. No adhesive yet at all. Just slip it in. I've tried putting adhesive on it, and then when I try to line it up, it starts sticking before I'm ready. It's a huge mess. So anyway, that's how I want it to look once it's finished. And that's where it will close. So that's what I do. I go ahead and close it. Then I open it up and put my adhesive. Then shut it. And there you have it, a lined envelope. How cool is that? All ready to go. If you want to, you could add a little bit of embellishment to the outside of the envelope, maybe stamp a few roses just on the flap. You get a really pretty card with envelope in no time at all. If you're new to Stampin' Up! And don't already have a demonstrator, I invite you to stop over at my blog, which is thequeenbeecreations.net. You'll find further instructions to this card, lots of other tutorials, links to my YouTube channel, my Pinterest, all those things. And if you happen to shoot me an email, I can send you copies of our new 2016 Occasions catalog and our Celebration brochure. And you're going to want to be sure you have these because there are just some fabulous exclusive sets in here and lots of ways to earn free product. So I hope to see you over at my blog, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.